Hi guys and girls, in this video I will tell you about botany as a science. Botany is a branch of biology that studies plants, their structure, vital functions, reproduction, diseases, history of development, geographical distribution, classification, etc., as well as the structure, development and location on the globe of plant communities. Researchers the biological diversity of the plant world, systematizes and classifies plants, studies their structure, geographical distribution, evolution, population species, floristic and coenotic differentiations, historical development, functional biocentric and biosphere role, useful properties, hydrosourcing potentials, impact on vegetation, six rational ways to preserve and protect flora. But the main goal of botany as a science to obtain and generalize new knowledge about the plant world in all its manifestations. Major botanic disciplines: taxonomy, morphology, plant anatomy, embryology, paleobotany, plant geography, plant biochemistry, botanical geography, geobotany, botanical research science, as well as algology, bryology, equicytology, lycopogeology, pteridology. It is divided into several special disciplines such as identification and classification of plants, taxonomy, study of their internal formation, plant morphology, their internal structure, plant anatomy, their microscopic structure, his plant histology, functioning and life plant psychology, their distribution on the Earth's surface and their environment. Paleobotany studies for fossil plants, economic botany deals with the use of plants, horticulture, agriculture and forestry are also branches of botany. History. In the process of development, botany was differentiated into a number of separate sciences, the most important of which are plant morphology, the science of the structure and development of the main organs of plants, from it stood out anatomy, histology of plants, studying the internal structure of the plant organism, kill biology, which studies the structure of the plant cell, plant embryology, which studies the processes of fertilization and embryo development in plants, plant physiology, the science of the vital activity of the plant organism, closely related to the biochemistry of plants, the science of chemical processes in them, plant genetics studies the variability and heredity of plants, task of plant taxonomy, study and classification of all plant species, and the creation of a plant system. Paleobo- Paleobotany studies fossil plants and is closely related to plant phylogeny, whose task is to reproduce the historical development of the plant world. Plant geography, the science of patterns of distribution of plants on the globe. From it stood out plant ecology, the science of the relationship between plant organism and environment, and phytocenology, the science of plant communities. There are a number of specialized disciplines that study chain groups of plants, such as algology, the science of algae, mycology about fungi, lichenology about lichens, bryology about mosses, dendrology about tree species, palynology about the structure of spores and pollen, etc. On the basis of botany, such branches of science as microbiology, phytopathology, pharmacology have developed ethics. The development of agronomic disciplines is closely connected with the success of botanical science. The use of plants in the national economy is becoming increasingly important. They are widely used in various industries, go to the manufacture of various drugs, antibiotics, and more. The development of botany is associated with human practice with the use of plant resources. The first revival of botany belongs to Aristotle's student Theophrastus. In the 1st century AD, Roman authors Dioscorides and Pliny the Elder supplemented this information. Medieval scholars continued the accumulation of descriptive information begun by ancient scholars. During the Renaissance, in connection with the enrichment of information about plants, there was a need to systematize the plant world. Carl Linnaeus has a great contribution to the organization of botanical knowledge, who in the middle of the 18th century introduced the binary nomenclature of plants, was the first to attempt to classify the plant world and develop an artificial system dividing the plant world into 24 classes. The invention of the microscope, advances in chemistry and technology created the conditions for the development of anatomy, cell biology, plant embryology, and the study of microscopic plants. Plant physiology is closely connected with the development of chemistry and physics. It began to develop successfully only in the late 18th, early 19th centuries, when respiration and photosynthesis in plants were discovered. Mineral their growth and reproduction were studied. Charles Darwin's evolutionary teachings became the basis for the further development of botany. With the improvement of research methods in the 19th, early 20th centuries, information about the plant world is enriched. The development of phylogenetic systems begins. New branches of botany are developed: phytogeography, ecology, paleobotany, phytocenology, and plant genetics. History of botany in Ukraine. Research in the field of botany in Ukraine began. Phytobiologist Kremen Lyceum opened in 1805. There was a botanical garden at the Lyceum where five Bezer and Andrzej Zevsky worked and later became one of the first teachers of botany at the University of St. Volodymyr in Kiev, opened in 1834. The value of botany. The study of plants is vital because they are the foundation of all wildlife on Earth. Plants produce most of the oxygen and food to support humans and other organisms. Plants, algae, and cyanobacteria are the main groups of organisms that carry out photosynthesis, a process that uses sunlight energy to convert water and carbon dioxide into carbohydrates that can be used as sources of chemical energy or in organic molecules used in the structural components of fuels. As a byproduct of photosynthetics, plants emit oxygen into the atmosphere, a gas that is needed by almost all organisms to carry out cellular respiration. In addition, they affect the global carbon cycle and water cycle, and plant roots bind and stabilize the soil, preventing erosion. Plants are crucial for the future of human society because they provide food, oxygen, medicine, and natural resource for people, as well as great and preserve their soil. In modern botany, studies of structural and functional organization of plants, cells, reproduction, growth, and development of plants, biochemical composition, metabolism, and its regulation, processes of repair and adaptation to changes in environment, conditions of lower and higher plants, in vivo and in vitro, on organ, cell, and molecular levels. Those issues were discussed at the International Botanical Congresses in Japan in 1993 and in the United States in 1998. In addition to classical methods, morphological, geographical, anatomical, embryological, and cytological methods are used. Election microscopy, cytochemistry, immunochemistry, and immunocytochemistry, autoradiography, molecular biology, biophysics, culture of organs, tissues and cells, recombination of molecules and genetic engineering, transgenic plants and mutants are used effectively in basic research. With the use of appropriate methods of biochemistry, molecular biology, and mathematics in plant taxonomy, such areas as chemo and genosystematics, numerical taxonomy, and cladistics have been identified. Subject of research, main directions and methods. Subject and main directions of research. According to the objects of research in botany, algology is distinguished the science of algae, mycology of fungi, lichenology of lichens, biology of mosses, study of microscopic organisms, mainly from the plant world, bacteria, actinomycetes, some fungi, and algae, is separated into a special science, microbiology. Phytopathology deals with plant diseases caused by viruses, bacteria, and fungi. The main botanical discipline, plant taxonomy, divides the diversity of the plant world into subordinate natural groups. Tax classification establishes a regional system of their names, nomenclature, and clarifies the family. Evolutionary relationship between them, phylogeny. In the past, taxonomy was based on external morphological features of plants and their geographical distribution. Now, taxonomists also widely use features of internal structure of plants. Features of plants can structure their chromosomal apparatus as well as chemical composition and environmental characteristics of plants. Establishment of species composition of plants of any contained territory is usually called floristics. Identification of areas of distribution of individual species, genera, and families. Chorology, the study of woody and shrubby plants is divided into a special discipline, dendrology. Closely related to taxonomy is plant morphology, which studies the shape of plants in the process of individual ontogenesis and historical phylogeny development. In a narrow sense, morphology studies the external shape of plants and their parts, and in a broader sense includes plant anatomy, which studies their internal structure, embryology, which studies the formation and development of the embryo, and cytology, which studies the structure of plant cells. Some sections of plant morphology are distinguished in special disciplines in connection with their applied or theoretical significance. For example, organography, description of parts and organs of plants; palynology, study of pollen and spores of plants; Charopology, description and classification of fruits; Teratology, study of anomalies occurred in plant structure. There are comparative, evolutionary, and ecological morphology of plants. That is all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.